This just in, Sunday, January 23rd, on your Shekinah Wisdom podcast. Today, my lovelies, let's talk more about this boundary setting. And I want to say y'all will be proud of me. I have learned to set the firmest boundaries available to mankind. Not unhealthy boundaries, but healthy boundaries, of course. When you set boundaries, people are not going to like it. They're going to try to do things that is going to make you upset that you did set boundaries. But remember, we set these boundaries to protect ourselves from unsavory situations and actions. If you do the same thing, expect the same results. That's what allowed me to make the changes necessary in my life. And the most important is the preservation of my energy and who I exchange energy with and who I allow to come in and out of my life. If there isn't a reciprocal exchange in some shape, form, or fashion, I have learned that I don't have to participate in it. The one thing that nature has taught me, that everything in nature is reciprocal, right? We breathe in oxygen. We change that oxygen into carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide, the plants change that into oxygen. Reciprocity at its finest. Now, anyone that's going to convince you that reciprocity is not the way are usually opportunists. Opportunists do not want you to be reciprocal. They don't want things to be reciprocal. They want you to cater to them. So whatever they can say to ensure that you cater to them, they're going to do. But it's up to you to set the firm boundaries to make sure that you do not fall into that category. Remember, one firm rule of reciprocity is if the person does not have, you can't have the same access to that individual as they have to you. For example, if they could pull up and ask you for whatever, but you can't ask them, then you know that relationship isn't reciprocal. And you're most likely dealing with an opportunist. And if you find yourself in that situation, the best thing to do is to remove yourself. No matter how much you think you're going to change a person cannot change unless they are willing to, and it's something that they desire to do. That's why I don't force change from people. I make observations and I move accordingly. Because, we all have our own journey. We all have our own path on this life, right? So it's not my job to interject in your path unless you're harming yourself and others in a way that, is really bad. Then I'm going to say something, but I might not necessarily step in because it's not my job to step in every scenario. That's one thing that I had to learn as a light worker. When you're a light worker, there are so many people that you will come across. And your first thing is, I can fix it. You turn into Bob the Builder on them. And then you don't realize that in that fixing process of you trying to fix others, they're damaging you. Now you have to be fixed. And then that starts a whole nother cycle. So that's why before you even take on healing work, you have to be grounded within yourself. You have to be grounded within your gifts and your abilities. And you have to know when to pull back. You have to know when you're being drowned. You don't want to drown yourself or allow someone to drown you while you're trying to save them. That has happened to me too many times. And that's why I have set these boundaries that you currently see. I had to learn through trials and tribulations that boundary setting was something essential that I needed to do to preserve my peace. Because when I didn't have boundaries and I allowed things to cross through that threshold of my life that was disruptive, it created chaos and havoc in my life. So now that I reinforce my security, I don't have those issues. Because I value me. I value who I am. I value who I've grown to be. And I respect myself accordingly. And those that don't, I can't help them in that department. I just can't be around them. And that's okay. I don't demonize people that I've deemed that are no longer acceptable in my life. Why? Because I want them to heal. I want them to grow. I'm not trying to damage anybody further just because we weren't compatible. No, I wish you love and light, and I help you move on. And of course, I'm going to give you a warning. When you do this, not everyone is going to be accepting of you walking out of their life or you distancing yourself. So they'll try to do all kinds of things. They'll try to tarnish your name. They'll try to tear you down or, talk to you sideways or whatever. But I'm going to tell you, ignore them and set your boundaries anyway. Because your boundaries are not only there to protect you, they're also there to protect others and their karma. So I want you to think about that today on this Soulful Sunday. I want you to think about your karmic slate. I want you to think about your boundaries. And I want you to understand how by you not setting proper boundaries, you're setting people up for failure. Because once they come through and they think that things are one way when it's not, because you didn't want to you wanted to be passive aggressive about life, you're not going to be happy. So think about what I'm saying here. Think about what I'm as far as the importance of these boundaries and how you should not allow anyone to make you feel guilty for setting them. Now, if you need further support, you can head over to ShekinahWisdom.com where you can book an appointment and join us on our healing journey. If you want art therapy, I'm still working on some new pieces. It's like, you got to understand, I wear many hats, so I'm a homeschool teacher. I have 3 businesses. I'm in school. I have a lot of things going on in my life. So with that being said, things are not going to come out as quickly as possible, but know that when everything is set, it's done with quality, precision, and I don't rush because I put love into everything I do. That's why I do this every day, because of love. I really enjoy doing my podcast every morning. I wake up, and that provides not only you inspiration, but it makes sure that I'm inspired and I have positive affirmations going throughout my day. So we all benefit from it. So that's why I look at my podcasting as reciprocal. But other things where people are trying to take advantage, I had to set some guidelines there. All right, my lovelies, you have a wonderful Sunday.